listening to the questionnaire.
Say that again.
You're listening to the questionnaire.
I've just started.
Right here, for your ears, for your eyes.
The questionnaire.
Get your Comic on.
Poke it out, poke it out, poke it out, poke it out.
Quiet place. The ass end of beyond. Man! I was trying to keep this PG, and then I got comics and whatever, and then just say things. At least it wasn't one of Tim Seeley's books. Lord knows what that would have done, right? But that's besides the point. This is the questionnaire, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Unknown Factor, a.k.a. that Wade Wilson of hip-hop. But as always, we ain't on hip-hop today. And I just got to say right off the bat, like, I swear last time she was on, she's giving me crap. Like, why are we doing your job? And then here she is back, but it's always a pleasure, man. I had a bit of a conversation, actually, about Hallows Eve for me leading Blood Hunters and some things, and y'all really need to be reading Blood Hunters if you're not. Plus, look, she's writing too much, because I'm loving Rat City, too. But with that, we got Erica Schultz. Yeah, she's just co-hosting.
Hello.
Yeah.
Co-hosting again.
Yeah.
Doing everybody's job here.
And do you want to start editing?
Fantastic.
I will make you start
the fantastic, editing. The phenomenal, the actual guest of this show.
Well, but let's say real quick, say it's gonna get a little epic, you know? We gotta use our voices. Yeah, so we got that guy Jon, man. Hopefully he don't transform into a crumpled pile from the heat. How you doing, Jon?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
It's a pleasure, dude. You've done so much as far as what you've done, and then you've got something phenomenal you've worked in. Transformers coming out recently. You did a little with film that I greatly enjoyed recently, that being Deadpool Wolverine. But your questionnaire, man, that you sent, which for everyone out there, go over to Patreon, become a member. You can check out all the answers on the questionnaire, because we never get into all of them because our guests would
waiting for
people would die.
They didn't make it through the questionnaire.
Yeah, so hey man, we try to let you answer the questionnaire in the comfort of your own time, you know what I mean, as opposed to
I did that in the booth too with the door shut. I was melting when I was doing the questionnaire too. I didn't know those rules.
Why are you trying to
the rules are there are no rules.
Oh, so it's Fight Club. Oh crap.
It's okay.
I mean, as little as I promo.
Nobody's going to listen to this podcast anyway. We know that.
Okay, well, thanks for having me on.
Hey, I whatever. I try. Leave me alone. I'm looking for a promo team for anybody out there. I actually got a line, but that's a whole other point altogether. We're not going to get into that. What we're going to get into is, man. So your favorite character is Deadpool, right?
Favorite fictional character.
Favorite fictional.
You said, if you want to be to be fair, I believe the question was current favorite fictional character compared to my favorite fictional character of my childhood.
Yes. So yeah. So it's your favorite fictional character, like,
because if we're talking all time, Deadpool is not number one, but currently, yeah, I love Deadpool.
Who's all time?
All time, Shockwave from Transformers. That's in the questionnaire.
Why's it got to be a Decepticon, man?
Because they're the freaking cool. I mean, look at him, dude.
But you're wearing an Optimus Prime.
I've done both. I also told you I wasn't going to the show naked like you guys wanted me to. So this is what
Nobody wanted you naked.
That's what they said. They were like, it was in the contract. No clothes, no shirt, no service.
Look, man. Hey, if that was the case, I would be on this show. Nobody wants to see my jiggly bits.
You signed an NDA. You can't talk about that, Jon.
I think for me, the characters for the bad guys were just the cooler colors. But Shockwave specifically was special to me because he had one eye and one hand, and he was still the coolest character in all of Transformers. Like in the comic books, most kids don't know because they were watching the cartoons and playing with the toys, which I couldn't afford because I didn't have a television. But the comic books I could afford. And Shockwave he wiped out everybody. Came down. He's like, Megatron, where you been at? Took over from Megatron. Just knocked him out of the way. Took over for the Decepticons. Took Optimus Prime's head off and knocked all the Autobots out with a one shot. I mean, that just instantly, that's the coolest character ever.
Well, I tend to be a little more of a fan of the Autobots, and no, I am not super basic, and like Bumblebee and Cliffjumper are not my favorites, by the way. But I will say that I've always had some love for Hound.
Hound is cool, although he's a little I don't know.
He's
This
a,
is
he's a little what?
this is a family-friendly show, but he was doing an awful lot of pumping when Spike got out of the water. Just saying. I've seen memes. I'm just I don't
Listen,
think
man.
Hound would. I don't think Hound would. I think he'd be canceled if it happened today.
I
But I see Optimus
You know
Prime
what?
was my favorite voice growing up, but he wasn't my favorite character. It was always Shockwave.
I
You know what?
think
Actually, well, I mean, you're here to promote your latest flick, which is the Transformers one,
Absolutely.
and I will say this that I think it's really interesting that this is the first fully animated Transformers film since the '86 Transformers film.
1986. Yep.
You know, so this is like a pretty big deal. I mean, obviously, it's not 2D animation. You guys are all doing 3D animation
That
for
you
this.
know of. You haven't seen it yet, so I'm kidding.
Well, my apologies. I can
We
only
didn't know there's
go
gonna be
by
2D
what I've
animation
seen.
in Deadpool 1, but there was, so you never know. I'm just saying.
All I can say is that I can only go based on the trailers and the footage that is widely available. I don't have any inside track. But I think it's very
Or
interesting.
tracks.
Or
The
tracks,
Transformers
yes. But it's how does it feel to be part of something that is almost 40 years on from the original theatrical release?
I'll
And
try to keep it
well, and just to
condensed.
just to add a quick tail to that, not only that, but it's the fact that this animated film is starting earlier than I think any other thing has as far as Transformers in this particular medium.
Yes.
I didn't start working for Transformers until about 8 years ago, and it's always been my favorite thing. I never thought I'd get to work on it, but from that first time that I got to book one to like being my two favorite characters in Bumblebee movie to now working on because I've seen it twice, the best Transformers animated or best Transformers movie period like ever made. It's the best Transformers thing ever made. It's never going to be a lot like how in the world am I working on this thing? Because I do love this brand, and if it wasn't me, I would just want it to be the best, even if I didn't work on it, because I do care about the brand that much. It's just always been my favorite, so I always do my very best. I give them 110%, even if somebody out there is not happy with my performance. I do the very best I can for what I work on, and I want it to be the best it can be, whether it's me or for somebody else. So it never gets old. Number one. And it never stops being surreal. Like, wow, if I was a kid and I went back in time and told myself I'm going to work on Transformers anything one day, I wouldn't believe me. And yet here I am.
I get that.
Yeah,
I mean, if I turned around, hey, you're going to be writing Werewolf, Wolverine and Daredevil and everything, I'd probably tell myself that I'm smoking crack. But no, and I think it's great that you actually genuinely care about the IP and everything, simply because you can tell when someone's performance, whether they're writing or performing like you are, you can tell whether or not their heart really is in it, and I think that's very cool.
Yep. I would say that I am to Transformers what Ryan Reynolds is to Deadpool, like the actor that just loves the thing so much that wants to see the very best it can be and get it made and get it out there. So I'm not saying I am Ryan Reynolds, and I'm not saying I'm famous and I'm the reason why Transformers exists or whatever. I'm just saying that love of the franchise from the actor that works on it. It's not just, you can always tell when an actor that works on a thing really actually loves and cares about that thing compared to just getting a paycheck or just doing a job. It's not just a job to me. This one is not just a job.
Yeah, I get that. I'm curious though, more than anything, John. Like, look, to voice acting. Like, at what point did you look and go, I can use my voice and do this? Because I've had a lot of different conversations with a lot of different creators. We got Alan Henry over here who does a lot of mocap stuff and is playing D&D with us. If you want to, we got another quest coming over there, the Thunder, and that's going to be fun. To comic book creators of all, from Erica writing, drawing, coloring, and you get stories of how they get into it. What makes you think I'm going to act with my voice, from your perspective? Because I have my own thoughts on that.
That moment never really occurred. It just kind of fell into place, and before I knew it, I was doing it for a living. It was just something that I was interested in, and I enjoy doing vocal things. I've always been an audiophile. I always was in the music in school, in church, just all through my life. There was a musical family. So there was audio something always. And I remember when I would, play with audio equipment when I was a kid and record my own stuff, record my own voices. And when I was introduced to cartoons, started wanting to do those voices and stuff from Sesame Street or whatever. I didn't know idea that was a job or a career. And my brain didn't really process that those people actually physically got paid to go to a studio and record those voices. So when I started understanding it better as I guess a tween, preteen, like right around that era, it still never occurred to me like this could be your career one day, because I lived in an area where that didn't exist. Memphis is not exactly an entertainment town except for music. So I never wanted to be a musician, never really had any interest. I only played instruments because I was forced to, because my grandmother wanted all of us to play piano, so she paid for lessons. And these sausage fingers are not made for a piano. Let me tell you, there's no Carnegie Hall in my future. But it's just something I had a natural God-given ability to do. And I tell people all the time, just because you can do impressions doesn't mean you necessarily have a career. And it's one skill set that's more of a party trick than anything else. It's great for social media, but as far as voiceover goes, there's more to it than that. There's acting involved. And I used to do a lot of on-stage acting, and whatever they would basically come to me if they had anything that required on-stage acting, because I was the guy that can come up with a thing. Usually it was comedy. But I would be like, okay, well, I guess I can do this. And they'd be like, oh, and it turns out great. Everybody loves it. So I think it was already all the skills and the raw talent stuff that it was just unrefined and not coached and not educated in acting and stage performances that are like, it was all there. It just wasn't cultivated yet. So I fell into it by accident. And I just kind of learned as I went, and it's a very bumpy road because I learned everything the hard way. And I think just one day my job went bankrupt and I was doing it, whether I liked it or not, because I had no backup. So it wasn't just one of those aha moments. I think I'm going to be a voice actor one day, It was just like, oh, I guess I'm a voice actor now.
So he didn't have an aha moment. He had an oh moment. And that's how you
Yeah. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble moment. Yeah.
Yep. Right in the middle of, because of Obama, all of the housing problems Obama caused. No, I don't even remember who was president at the time. I just remember the housing crisis happened and the bubble popped and my job went bankrupt because of it. And I was like, what do I do now? And I'm like, I was already doing auditions, but I was doing it part-time. It's not something you go, this is going to be my full-time career. That's usually not the way it goes. It's usually like, this is something I can do in whatever spare time I have working my regular job, because it is so hard to book things. And I mean, some people have auditioned forever and never booked anything, or they go months or years. And for me, I was booking maybe 1 to 3 a month, which most people were like, that's really good. I had no idea. I was like, I can't pay the bills full time with 1 to 3 jobs a month. So I just kept doing the best I could and booking everything I could. I realized that it wasn't one of those things where I was going to be hired for this. This is just me being me. And I'm kind of boring and uninteresting. But all the things that I can do with my voice, they all apply to a lot of different things in the industry, because the industry is huge. So I just I'm going to be a Swiss Army knife. I'm not going to be a one-trick pony. So I just whatever it is, I will give it a shot. I'll give it the yes man treatment, like Jim Carrey. Like, if whatever it is, if it doesn't violate any personal, ethical, personal beliefs, faith-based stuff, like, okay, I'll give it a try. If I suck at it, fine. If I don't, cool. And then I'll just keep doing it and then get as good at it as I could get. That's usually the part where people fail, though. They don't want to take the time, because it takes time to get great at it. And you have to coach and you have to practice, and you can't just go out and party and waste your time playing video games or whatever else.
There's also, like you were saying, there's a universality to a lot of the skills that you have to obtain to do this professionally. And doing something that you're good at doesn't necessarily mean that you can do professionally. Doesn't necessarily mean that you can make a living at it.
1000% yes. Also, there's a difference between good at it and being great at it. People that are great at it get booked. People that are good at it usually just float around and get something every once in a while. And they might be like, oh, I'm a professional voice actor because I booked this one thing on YouTube 5 years ago. It's my career, though. It's my job. It really pays my bills, and you have to get great at it in order to get to that level. You don't just get there by being okay or putting in minimum effort.
And I completely agree. And you also have to be willing to learn more. You have to be willing to constantly be learning, whether it's, yes, you're great at your job. You are, pretty high at, in terms of where the mountain at which your job is. but the fact that you are still willing to keep learning and to keep experimenting and to keep challenging yourself creatively, I think that that's very important, because
it's the most important thing.
Yeah.
It really is, because a lot of people do not understand that even once you've reached that level where you're booking movies and you're booking animated shows and you're booking, AAA video games, that doesn't mean you stop. That doesn't mean you're like, okay, well, I've peaked. I've reached my, every year things change. In fact, sometimes it changes month to month. You never have, demo length, slating, or whatever, how you audition, the technology to record, to connect, everything's constantly moving and changing, like a transformer when I transform. So you have to keep up to date every year. You have to make sure you're updating demos. You have to make sure that you're polishing and making sure those connections with people in the industry are strong that you might potentially work with one day without overdoing it or underdoing it. There's just so many freaking moving parts.
You don't want to be too eager. No.
Yeah, it really is an extremely delicate, but you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the videos, or if you go to the circus or carnival and you see the people spinning plates. It really is that exact thing. You are extremely quick, you're educated, you're spinning the plates in exactly the right order to keep them all balanced and going at the same time. And if you stray off, something's going to fall and break, and you have to keep it going. And people get exhausted and burn out and quit because of that. That's a grind that you have to keep up all the time. And the only way that you don't have to do it is if, like I said, you don't quit your day job. But if you're doing this for a career, for a full-time job, and you're paying the bills with this money, you have to keep freaking spinning those plates. You never really get a break. I think my roommate, who you should definitely have interviewed on here, Foxy Ditch is her username. She talks about all the time about how, like, when's the last time you've had like a peaceful day where you did nothing? I'm like, I do not remember. If I was like this, if I didn't do any social media, no content, no contact, no networking, no voiceover, no sessions, no auditions, just nothing, no writing, if I just did nothing, I cannot remember a day where I just did absolutely nothing. I haven't had even on vacation. I'm like, we can make content.
In general, you're gonna feel like there's this thing, and that's how you know that it's something that's innate, and that's something that's part of your core. Because
it's also a spectrum power. Let's be honest. It's just that hyper focus, and your brain never stops. It's really hard to just make that. I could never have the force. I couldn't sit still long enough. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Wait.
I could not quiet my mind enough.
Are you saying if you were force sensitive, you'd definitely go dark side? Because at first, I can relate.
I don't think I'd have the patience for either one, man. Because I don't know.
There's a level. There's a stillness of mind that you need to have for both of them.
I don't have stillness of mind even when I'm asleep and my brain is still going. I'll wake up and I'm like, that's a great movie. I'm gonna write that down.
That's why I have.
I dream about working.
I have notebooks next to in every single room of my house. There's a notebook, there's a pen, and I can be anywhere. And if an idea comes, I got to write it down.
Yeah, because you don't. That's when all the good ideas disappear.
Yeah.
I can't even count how many times I'm like, that's freaking brilliant. And I didn't write it down. Like, what was it? It's gone.
I do know somebody who keeps telling me about there's an app. It's better. It's apparently better at transcribing with voices than just hitting the regular microphone button. But there's supposed to be an app that's supposed to be very good with that. That I know that people have been talking about. So if I remember the name, I will let you know. That helps with getting your ideas and your information out of your head before you forget it.
Right.
I would love to find something like that. Yeah, and man, I have to inquire though, Jon, with the way things went for you in voice acting and the fact that you were able to take that situation, which obviously wasn't, optimal, but you obviously optimized it, man. You went prime. I love it. Perfect. Right. So you took it. And you did that. If you've seen somebody that was looking at voice acting, was like, man, I would love to do that professionally. What would be your first piece of advice that would be the best piece of advice that you would have to help them at the base level?
Firstly, I get asked that like 50,000 times. That's literally what everybody says when they meet me. Everyone says it, but the fact is they all say they want to learn more about it or they want to be it, but they don't go past the wanting to level. I say, okay, I coach, and I give them this piece of advice. Go to a free website called iwanttobeavoiceactor.com, made by a 30-year plus pro, D. Bradley Baker. You know him from Clone Wars and SpongeBob and Avatar: The Last Airbender, tons and tons of stuff. He is the creature king of voiceover. He made a website listing everything there is to know about the job, all the research part, so you can find out what the stuff is, what you need to know about it. All you can do all that for free. You can spend 2 weeks on that site for free and never even pay a single coach for any of that information. Free. And they act like it's spam. Like, what? I have to read? And no offense, but Gen Alpha, they just don't, they want it handed to them without having to, can't you just get me a job? Can't you just hire me? I'm like, do I look like a casting director? Or did I say I was a voice actor? There's a big difference. Casting directors may do some voiceover, but they're not voice actors.
Wait, John. I brought you on the quest just so I could get in the next film you were in. Are you telling me you can't do that? Like,
I know, right?
Wait, what?
It's because you're a cat person. Sorry, I only work with dog people.
Hey, look, I'm not, but this one is really
My
good.
heart just broke.
All right, what? That I'm not a cat person?
No, John just said I only work with dog people. So
I'm totally,
like, that's really terrible.
I am totally a dog person, but this cat is totally part dog, Sean. I'm not.
Yeah, I just lost.
All cats are on the spectrum, and I'm already on the spectrum, and you can't put two spectrum people together. It doesn't work.
I get, but
the lack of responsibility in this house. I always end up taking care of the animals, which is why I end up hating having pets, because they're like, we wanted this. Like, are you gonna take care of it? Yeah, we promise. No, they're not. They're not. They never do. You will be stuck with the responsibility of whatever animal it is. Get them a goldfish. 20 cents.
This is why I don't have kids.
Yep. Well, okay. To be fair, if you don't have kids, knock yourself out with the cats. You're fine. They're just as horrible as children.
I have 9 nieces and nephews and 6 godchildren. I have plenty of children that are in my care. God forbid a bunch of parents. Like, if all of my friends got on an airplane and the airplane crashed, I'd be like, so screwed. I would have like cheaper by the dozen. It would be ridiculous.
More like Mrs. Pettigrew's home for whatever.
For wayward children.
Exactly.
Yeah. They would be swinging from the freaking chandeliers. It would be ridiculous. That is why none of my siblings and none of my friends can all get on the same airplane together. It's like when whatchamacallit, when the now he's the King Charles and Prince William can't ever be on the same plane together, because God forbid one of it goes down. So there you go. That's how it is.
Make sure there's more than one parachute. So, man.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
whoever survives, you'll know they killed off the other ones.
I mean, from what we hear
sounds like a great way to pick a king.
That family seems like backstabbing and throwing people out planes is not off the table.
We know England's history when it comes to the throne.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Americans just usually sit on the throne for long periods of time because of their terrible diets.
Yes.
So, man,
You're welcome.
How many kids you got, John? I got one that's 5.
They're not kids anymore. They're all adults. But yeah, 4.
Well, I don't want to hear it from you either. Then I got a 5-year-old, man, and
yeah, they're all grown now. I don't miss those days.
I think the youngest for me is my godson's. One of my godsons is 13, and then the oldest is my niece is 37.
My youngest will be 17 in a month or 2, and then my oldest will be 26 or 7 next year. I think it is.
So,
well, happy birthday and congrats for raising some hopefully productive members of society.
Who knows? You try.
But
Gen Alpha, man. I don't know.
That is all you can do then. But so you never had.
Stop being skibbity or whatever.
Oh,
no cap.
I don't know what any of those words are.
That's because you have Riz. That's why.
The skibbity thing is just the toilet.
My godson goes to school. He's 13 years old, and he goes to school and he goes, "Do you know my Aunt Erica? She reads Spider-Man." And it was like, "No, she doesn't." "Yeah, she does. She reads Spider-Man." Yeah. And I was like, "Wow." And then when I go over
my dad's Optimus Prime. I'm like, what? No, he's not.
But then when I go over there, I'm like, "Hey, man, give me a hug." He's like, "No." Dude, I am your bragging rights.
I know.
You give me a hug.
I've had kids that use my name to like hook up with other people. They got rides home from cops because they were like, "Oh, and it's so and so epic voice guy," and they're like, "Oh, I'm a huge fan. I'll take you there." Like, what?
What?
How come it doesn't work for me? Hey, I'm a big voice guy. Can you hook me up with a ride? Nope.
They're like,
Oh, you
nope,
are.
sorry. You
But
look like
other
a
people
homeless
could
dude.
benefit from my name, apparently. Who knew? I don't know.
But wait,
I don't know
you
who's
can't get
traded
a
on my
ride?
name, but it sure as hell ain't me.
Kind of crap is that, John? Like,
I'll tell you a great story though that's very similar to this. So you probably remember this guy better than I do, but the James Bond with the black hair. I can't remember his name.
the James
With the
Bond,
black hair.
Yeah.
Pierce Brosnan.
Are
Not
you
Pierce
talking about
Brosnan. No, way back before my time.
Timothy
Yeah,
Dalton?
Timothy something.
What do you
So
mean before your time? Timothy Dalton was my time.
I was born in '79, barely.
I was born in '77.
So they making sure you remember him more than I do. Anyways, I knew he was before my day because my day, I think Pierce Brosnan showed up around the time I was watching movies.
Yeah, that's what I
But
would say.
he went out to eat with his son, and he looked around the corner, and Sean Connery was at the same restaurant eating. He's like, Dad, look, it's James Bond. And his daddy goes, son, I'm James Bond. He's like, no, Dad, the real James Bond.
That's so horrible.
I know.
That's so horrible.
So this is like my kid. My kid's watching. It's playing Transformers Beyond Reality. It's the first Transformers VR game, and it's kind of a record for me because it was their first VR game, and I was every male character in this entire game, which is kind of a cool deal. So I'm Optimus and Megatron and everybody else, and he's playing the game. He's like, why is that Optimus Prime not? Why is it not Peter Cullen? Because he's like the original voice. I'm like, because they got me to do it. He's like, I like the other voice better. I'm like, well, the other voice doesn't pay your bills, so I guess you're gonna have to be grateful for this one. Play the dang game.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing.
Worst critics.
They are the worst critics. I remember we had a huge flood in our kitchen recently, and we had work people coming in and out of the house at all times, and we've got comic book art on every wall of the house and comics framed and everything. And I remember one guy comes in and he's like, so you guys are like into like the cartoon comic stuff, right? And my husband's like, who do you think is actually paying for you to be here? Daredevil is paying for you to be here. Black Widow is paying for you to be here. Spawn is paying for you to be here right now. So,
all right, hey, so I gotta know, John, how do you, like, when they approached you, play every male Transformer? That seems like an endeavor.
I love Transformers, and
I
didn't even know at the time that I was going to be all the final voices, because a lot of what I do is really just it's what helps it helps get the thing made. So like I've worked on Star Tours, I've worked on dozens of movies. I do a lot of ADR. ADR is a very niche part of the job. There's also another thing called Loop Group, where a group of people do the same thing that individuals do. But individually, I also fill in for a lot of celebrity voices as well, and characters, whatever. But it's usually, I never know what's going to be the final whatever. So the fact that I got to do all the voices for a thing, I don't even know how to describe it. It kind of reminded me of a more advanced version of what I did when I was like 5 or 6 with my Fisher-Price tape recorder, playing with the Transformers toys on the floor, like they can be seen when I push the button on play. It's not a video camera. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyways, but I would record all the voices for it, and I would like record the music in the background from the TV to add on. So I'd make my own little episodes and then play them out with the toys. This was kind of that same thing, because I was like, oh my gosh, this is like my imaginary stuff from when I was a kid come true. Like I'm literally like playing with digital toys now, but they're all my voices. This is crazy. Yeah, that was pretty cool though. And VR is, I gotta admit, Transformers was a great idea for virtual reality, because even when the first opening screen, like the sign, the logo of Transformers kind of glows, and you see their eyes glowing behind them, but then after it starts, the lights come on, they stand up, and you're like, holy! It gives you like a perspective of scale, how big Transformers are versus humans, and I was like, man, this is really cool.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't even.
I know it's VR is not everybody's cup of tea, and it's not like the biggest medium out there, but it was a medium that I feel worked really well for that particular brand, and it is a really cool game. You guys can play it on PlayStation VR. But
yeah, no,
really,
and firstly, you can check out that link that John was talking about earlier. I'm going to try and remember to put that in the description, as far as for the voice acting, as far as for directing. If anybody is interested in that capacity, they can check it out.
Yeah,
as well as find information about John.
Super
but I want to know, man, So Transformers is your thing. Deadpool's your favorite current character. You've gotten to play with both of them. Is there,
Yep.
and as well as a number of other things, is there a medium out there that you look at and you go, I want to put my voice to it?
Not a medium, but there's brands that I want to book that I still haven't,
Or
because
that's what I
I'm a
meant.
nerd.
I meant like a
I'm proud and
character or
loud.
something.
I'm a nerd I'm a Christian nerd. That's like a very niche area of nerdom, and it's like I've already done the nerd checklist: Lego, Muppets, Star Wars, Disney, Marvel, Transformers. But then you get down to the end of the list, and DC Comics and freaking Ninja Turtles I've auditioned again and again, and I don't know what it is. And maybe it's because I'm too big of a fan and it's kind of getting in my head. But they're like, don't do the same thing that's been done, but do these same characters that have been done 1,000 times. Like, well, what can I do that's different than what's been done before? But and then it always ends up sounding exactly the same as the previous version that was out there. So I don't know. For some reason, those two is just not in the cards yet. So
I don't
but yeah,
know.
Those are my last two checklist things that I've done everything else I wanted to do. I just want to keep doing what I'm already doing.
And then I truly hope you do, but I gotta know. I don't know how far along they are, but I've heard rumors of The Last Ronin getting an animated treatment as far as a film, right? And ooh, wouldn't that be a treat, right?
That would be cool.
Right?
Well, all those rumors sound great.
Right? Could you think
Don't look at me.
You think you
I don't
could
Yeah, I know.
play?
Why is he asking me non-disclosure questions like I know something or that?
Oh, well, I
Even if
know
I
you
didn't know
don't
something,
know.
like
We're
I'd be
just
allowed to
talking
say
rumors,
something.
man. We can talk rumors, John. It's okay. I want to know, man. Think you could play
See, that's
Ronan?
where I can't be that kind of fan anymore, because now when fans say something, it's news, and then it's, oh, you broke non-disclosure agreement. I don't remember.
Oh,
I've
well, I'm
auditioned for
not.
something.
I'm
I
okay.
don't
Okay.
recollect. But the rumors and the stuff that I've seen online, that all looks cool. I would love to see a Last Ronin story.
Yeah.
I know my buddy Boss Logic does a lot of great artwork for Last Ronin, but I don't know if that's a real thing or not.
I will ask you this. So as a fan of comics, having grown up with comics, being a writer now, I feel like I have to separate myself from the fandom to a certain extent because I have to be objective because this is now my job. Do you feel that that's something that you have to do as well?
I have to be professional in every situation now. I can't just chit chat about fan theories or whatever I think might whatever, because of the stuff that I work on now. And of course, I'm the biggest Transformers fan. I had this happen with my agency. Like, they literally said, you need to be more careful because you saying this stuff, and now they're taking this stuff and using it as news. They think you have something to do with it that could turn studios away from wanting to work with you because they think you're breaking non-disclosure, or it looks like you are, whether you are or not.
Oh.
There was a project that was out, or that fans were theorizing about, and it's something that Transformers, whatever fandoms and whatever have posted about before every once in a while, and they're like, oh, this is never happening. I'm looking at looking at it from a fan point of view. I'm like, no, it's obviously going to happen at some point because they put all this effort and work into it. I don't think you guys are just being impatient. That's what my brain was thinking. They took what I said as, oh, it's happening. Yeah, buddy, it's a secret wink, wink. I'm like, so I can't just talk like a fan anymore. I have to really think about, like, well, if I read this knowing that he works on stuff, my brain might have come to the same conclusion. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, I see that now and upon retrospect, but also at the same time, it's kind of a bummer because that means I've crossed the line from just being able to chat as a fan without having to worry about what I say. And, now I have to actually worry about what I say so it won't get used against me or make me look bad or whatever.
I mean, if I'll say something where, like, I'll be like, oh, I'd really love to work on this character.
Yeah, that's news now. That becomes a
exactly
clickbait, everything. So-and-so Batista wants to be such and such. Like, that's not news. That's just people saying they want to work. All of us say that.
Are you telling me that's news? Because I got so many people saying they want to work on so many different things.
But I think I'm just going to make a long video saying I would like to be the next insert blank, and just clip that down so everybody will be like, oh, Jon Bailey says he wants to be Batman. Jon Bailey wants to be Superman. Jon Bailey wants to be Spider-Man. I want to be everything so I can have some work and pay the bills.
Okay, yeah. See, let me clarify for everybody watching. I ain't trying to say nothing as far as John knew something about a movie. I just really wanted to, like, from everything else you've done, man, and you saying those things, I wanted to be like, well, would you give us a taste of what you would do with the main character?
But again, I have to be like, I shouldn't. As a fan, as a professional, I can't. As a fan, I'd love to. But as a professional, anything I use, even if it's great, somebody else might snatch it and use it for their audition one day. Or, like I said, if I recorded on it and don't remember, or even if the studio saw me talking about it, and they're like, well, we can't trust him to say anything or not, So I just have to avoid questions like that. It sucks. It sucks because I love these properties, and I can't always just talk about being a fan of a thing until after it comes out, and people either know that I am or am not part of it, and then they'll let me talk about it all I want to. But it just means it sucks for me because I had to sit there just like, I just wait for something wait till it's an appropriate time to say something.
What is it that you feel is, I guess what the word is, authorized for you to tell us about Transformers 1, the new film coming out?
There's an embargo going on till September 12th. I have seen the movie twice, and it's one of those was the final version. It was still not quite finished the first time I saw it. But Paramount was very kind to invite me and my roommate Voxy Ditch out to see the very first premiere at Paramount at their Dolby Atmos theater, which was freaking amazing. And we were allowed to talk about how we feel about it, our reactions to it. And it's the best thing Transformers ever made. It's the best Transformers thing. I don't know how else to describe it. Even as a fan, if I even hadn't worked on the thing, I still would have been like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen, and I want to see it again right now. I wanted to rewind it and just watch it over again right that second. And as soon as another fan screening went up and somebody had shared, like, here's a code, get a free, like, I went on there on my own, just as a fan, just put in, it was first come, first serve. I got there 2 hours early. We barely even got in a 2 hour early line because it was just like, whoever gets here gets here. And thankfully I had a connection there that was like, I thought I recognized you. Yeah, you can sit in this section. So I didn't get sucky seats. So I got great seats for the IMAX release. It looked even better in IMAX, but I am really looking forward to. And if you happen to be in the LA area and you want to get your exclusive posters signed, they're giving out free exclusive posters at the AMC North Hollywood Regal Cinema for the 40X fan screening 2 days before the movie comes out on September 18th, and I will be there. So I got some great seats. I'm going to get my poster too, and I'm happy to sign anything anybody wants. If you don't recognize me, that's your fault. So
Make sure you
I'll
have
address the sound wave, so you won't be able to miss me.
Make sure you have some juicy Sharpies with you, because you don't want them running out of ink.
They can figure out their own Sharpies. I'm doing this for free, bro. Bring it, BYO.
As well as
bring your own Sharpie.
I don't know if he'll be up by the time I drop this quest, but if it is, I'll definitely attach. But I know you've got a website coming up that you're going to have merchandise on as well.
My website's out. epicvoiceguy.com is out, but I will be adding a merchandise page to it.
Okay.
That will have everything Transformers that I've been. So if this was on my mobile device, I could show you. But I have actually. You know what? Give me 2 seconds. I'll bring one to you.
I read that way too fast because I'm trying to, it must be nice.
Be time conscious. I understand.
You're
doing good. You're doing good on that.
Look, it must be nice not having kids or having grown kids to where you don't have a 5-year-old up your butt all day. That's all I'm saying. Lord knows if my kid was grown where this quest would grow, right. But I love to see the quest be back.
So
and Jon
this company called Blockies makes these awesome minifigures that you build yourself.
Cool.
And they have just dozens of them. This is the shiny metallic version of Soundwave, and his chest does open. There's a tiny Frenzy tape inside. They even have the gold exclusives. If you're a hardcore fan and you remember the episode Gold Lagoon, they did an entire set of the Gold Lagoon characters that light up.
Wasn't the title of the episode The Golden Lagoon? I'm just, just
his chest lights up, his eyes light up. So they got multiple types of figures. So there'll be Blockies on there. There'll be Robosin, the transforming Transformers that you've seen online, Megatron, Optimus, Grimlock, and Bumblebee. You'll be able to get all the stuff there. Some of it comes from my personal collection, and the rest of it's just coming from actual sponsors. I finally have actual official Transformer sponsors for my site.
That's awesome.
But if you buy something from my personal collection, though, and I have well over 1,000 things to sell, you will get an exclusive thing, and I have multiple things to choose from. You'll get an exclusive poster. You'll get an exclusive commissioned print by a professional Transformers comic book artist, or you can get a Transformers trading card that I had made myself. All of those for free with a purchase, and I will autograph them and send them with the item that you buy.
Jon, can I
give us the site again?
It's epicvoiceguy.com. Super easy.
And it's down in the description as well. If y'all don't want to type it in, all you got to do is give it a quick click, right? And John, I just want to say, man, I don't want you to pass out, but there's so many things that I want to get into, but I don't want you to like die on the show. I
I appreciate it. You'll just have to have me back again.
Yeah, look. If anybody dies on a quest, I hope it's in the D&D game and it's just the character. We're gonna try and really keep it that way to where there's no actual people dying. But I will say, man, to be part of Transformers right now, I think it's really a moment. Whether it's, I mean, you've got this film coming out, what Skybound is doing with all the comics. I really think it's having a very interesting resurgence, both for kids well as adults, man. So yeah, it's so much. Yeah. It's very, very awesome to see you, and it's been a pleasure to have you on to get to talk about it.
And you can also go to my website right now. It's up. The merchandise page isn't up yet, but my site is up. And we had talked about voiceover and coaching in the website for free. I coach very, very reasonably, and my services page is up and running just fine. So if you're out there and you do want to learn, and you can get past the hump of I just want to learn and I think I could be good at this, and you actually want to go through with that, I can literally teach you the cheat codes to creating characters, how to audition, how to book without having to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on a whole bunch of classes. So look me up on epicvoice.com, go to my services page. I'll be happy to help.
Awesome. John, it has been a pleasure. We're definitely going to have you back. I've got a feeling there's going to be a PanCon I'm going to be arranging. It's going to be real interesting soon from some of the past quests and future quests we've had. I'm gonna arrange a nice one. Scott's gonna drive me crazy, and I hope I can get everyone I'm referring to in the same time frame, because I know all the people I'm thinking of have really screwy schedules, John, just like I'm sure you do. Now, for everyone out there, I want to let you know, if you've enjoyed this quest with John, right, what I want you all to do, right, is I want you to just send him food. Apparently he wasn't specific, right? But I want it to be brought by Sprites, right? So just have a bunch of Sprites, bring him a bunch of food. You make sure you throw in some Kit Kats. You chose the best candy bar, John. You know that, right? You chose the best candy bar.
Almond Joys.
I didn't.
Yeah,
in Russia, Kit Kat chooses you.
Now, I want to let you all know, if for some reason you haven't enjoyed this quest, right? I mean, I don't know.
You're welcome.
Like,
I know.
For real.
Good thing you wore your brown pants.
Right?
I knew that. I've been waiting the whole show to do that for you.
But what you can do is, if you just want to bug John, what you do is you get you a skinwalker. You somehow get him smelling like that sinkhole, right? From Steak and Shake, and then you just send it his way. I don't know how you're going to manage that smell or why John knows it, but that's besides the point.
Because I used to wash dishes at Steak and Shake.
Yeah, dude, I know.
I'm all too familiar.
I know that smell from other dishwashing places. I can imagine the one at Tumbleweed was, yeah. So don't do that. It's really
mean. It's in your clothes.
It's really, really mean, right? But dude,
every time I go in that dish, I was like, what a wonderful new smell you've discovered, your worshipfulness.
But like I said, make sure you check the link in the description. You can get right to John, find out all that information. Check out Transformers 1. It's dropping soon. The Transformers VR
in
game.
Theater September 20th.
You did every voice, dude. This
is why we have him on.
And you didn't even have to ask.
That just amazes me, John. I definitely want to. We're going to talk real quick after we wrap this up. But I'll tell you, everybody out there, man, I just want y'all to do 3 more things, right? 1, give it that thumbs up. 2, get your comic on. Or, we'll make it a little more general. Get your geek on, right? Period, right? Besides that, have a good night, y'all.
Don't have a good day. Have a great day.
This has been the questionnaire.
Where's the link?
Thanks for checking out the questionnaire.
In the link below, yes?
I will drop it like it's hot.
That's another party.
It's cool, man. I love it.
The questionnaire. That is all.